In a world reimagined where every dam on Earth suddenly collapsed, chaos erupted instantly. The sound of rushing water was deafening as colossal walls of water surged across continents. Cities like New York, London, and Tokyo were swallowed by the unstoppable floodwaters within moments. Millions of people in coastal areas were caught off guard, seeking higher ground in a desperate scramble for survival. The death toll soared rapidly, with estimates reaching over 30 million lives lost in the first few days. The once bustling financial districts were now submerged underwater, leaving billions in economic ruin. In Venice, the historic city was torn apart as floodwaters swept through centuries-old buildings. Floodwaters in Mumbai obliterated slums, washing away entire neighborhoods in a wave of destruction. The Amazon basin and the Congo rainforest were flooded extensively, disrupting ecosystems worldwide. Agricultural lands were drowned, triggering global food shortages on an unprecedented scale. With infrastructure devastated, millions of survivors faced famine, disease, and relentless despair. Power grids failed across continents as electrical stations were overwhelmed by rising waters. The global climate was thrown into chaos, with massive storms forming as a result of disturbed weather patterns. Emergency responders struggled to provide aid amid widespread flooding and infrastructure collapse. Governments declared states of emergency. International aid efforts were hampered by flooded ports and airports. Hospitals were submerged or overwhelmed, unable to handle the overwhelming surge of injured and sick refugees. The internet and communication networks went dark in many regions, isolating millions in their misery. Looting and violence spiked as desperate survivors fought for resources in the chaos. The collapse of dams also unleashed toxic chemicals and pollutants, poisoning water supplies globally. Wildlife populations plummeted as habitats were wiped out overnight, causing ecological collapses. The world's fisheries were decimated, leading to a collapse in global seafood supplies. Religious and social upheaval surged as communities grappled with the new realities of survival. Rival factions formed in the wasteland, often fighting over dwindling resources and safe zones. The mental health crisis worsened, with countless people suffering from trauma, grief, and despair. Scientists warned of lasting geological effects, including increased seismic activity due to the sudden redistribution of water mass. Despite the devastation, stories of heroism emerged as some communities banded together to rebuild. Innovators worked tirelessly to develop makeshift solutions for clean water and shelter. From the ruins, small pockets of hope sprouted as people reclaimed their resilience and ingenuity. Global leaders called for unity and innovation, recognizing that humanity's future depended on cooperation. New underground civilizations began to form in safe zones away from the flood's reach. Some survivors turned to ancient survival skills, creating floating communities on the remaining water bodies. Educational efforts shifted to teaching survival skills, as traditional schooling became impossible in flooded zones. Wildlife conservationists attempted to rescue endangered species, many of which were pushed to the brink of extinction. The skies cleared after months of relentless storms, revealing a changed but still habitable Earth. Humans faced the daunting task of living with the new reality, where water now dominated the planet. Scientists forecasted a long recovery, possibly taking generations to restore the world's ecosystems and infrastructure. Despite the overwhelming odds, stories of human resilience and hope persisted in whispered legend and news reports. Communities began experimenting with floating farms and water-based habitats to adapt to the new environment. The world learned painful lessons about the fragility of its infrastructure and the importance of preparedness. Ancient cities buried beneath the waters became archaeological treasures for future generations striving to understand this disaster. In this reimagined world, humanity faced its greatest test of endurance, innovation, and compassion. Throughout the chaos, the resilient spirit of humankind shined through, sparking a slow but hopeful rebirth. While the death count was a staggering 30 million plus, countless more adapted and found new purpose amid destruction. As the waters slowly receded in some places, survivors began tentatively rebuilding what they could. The planet, scarred but still alive, awaited a new era where humans would learn to coexist with its unpredictable power.